Happy Native American Heritage Month. Yeah, trying out a new do. Anyway, don't get used to it. I'm going back to the ponytail or all the way down. I just wanted to see what the hell this looked like if I tried to do that samurai thing. It didn't work out. Anyway, so I found this thing called Out West. So I'm gonna pop it up, and instead of doing the chit chats in the previous video, we're just gonna make this one video. There are a lot of Native American folklore creatures here, so I'm not gonna read them all. That's the wrong thing that I clicked on. I'm not going to read them all, but I am. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm going to go through them. So I'm not going to read them, but I'm going to go through them. I might give you guys a glimpse of what they're called. I can't give you pictures because I can't take this off my laptop and show it to you. But there are at least 10 of them, I think. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the website. So that is oldwest.org/native/american/mythical/creatures and the dash this way. Now when I said slash, it was like the subtraction sign, and then the thing at the end would be this. So I mean, I can probably copy it and paste it. Yeah, I'll do that. That's gonna be much easier if I copy it and paste it. So okay, it's copied. Now let us begin. After I figure out how to get this thing to scroll back up. So it's giving me 10 of these creatures, and this is gonna be a lot easier for me than to try to get it back up to you. So this is just one perspective. I'm going to read all 10. I'm going to try to give you a little info on all of them. And then we're going to call it a night. And then I'll be posting these videos. And then I'll be going to sleep. Alright? Okay, so if you're native and you're superstitious, you probably want to, like, when I get to number 3, because I'm going to say the name that everybody's afraid of. So you might want to, like, skip past it, because that would be the SWs, and we are going to do this. Alright, so 10 Native American creatures and monsters. So before I do this, what I was told of the first creature that I'm going to read, is probably going to be different than what I find here. But what I was told was that these creatures were basically creatures of vengeance. Not so much evil, but creatures of vengeance. I'm actually going to do a second chit chat after this, but I'll deal with that in a minute, because that actually my second chit chat is going to be more important. So let's just cut through this and get this shit over with, and we're going to go. So the first creatures are the Thunderbirds. I'm only going to give you a segment. I gave you guys the thing so we can do that. Before I get too deep into Thunderbirds, though, I was always told, and I'm speculating, of course, that the Thunderbirds were spirits of vengeance, and that the Thunderbirds would take non-native children from the parental units as a bit of revenge for losing everything and for murdered Native Americans. Again, speculating, and I could be wrong, so I'm just going to read this top paragraph. I'm going to attempt to read this top paragraph. For the native culture in the Pacific Northwest and Plains, the Thunderbird is a mystical creature that embodies the strength and power. The Thunderbird is a very large and powerful bird. It is said that it is so large, in fact, that it could pluck an orca whale from the sea, which as much as easy as an eagle catching a salmon with his talons. I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to read any more. Because like I said, what I was told, it was a bird of vengeance, and it would like take the wagon trains too. So that's why I said I'm gonna leave it there. And if you're native, you can confirm or deny. Because like I said, this stuff I've learned is folklore. So you can probably type it up as actuality, or as most people who are not native, they're gonna type it up as BS. But I'm gonna type it up as actuality because if this thing can pick up a freaking whale, a wagon train would not be an issue. All right, and I'm only giving you that because I'm at like at the end of the month, so like in 2 days I won't be able to really do much more for Native American heritage. All right, it was number two. So the SWs are here. Number two, they are the Skinwalkers. I have been given different folklore about them, so I'm just gonna read it off this book. In fact, I'm gonna read everything off this book so that it won't be too difficult. All right, so the Navajo, Dene, have myths of stories of terrifying creatures known as skinwalkers. Skinwalkers are mystical entities that have the ability to transform itself into any animal or human that it wants. Now, there are other things that go with this. I'm not going to read it for you because this is why Navajo don't whistle at night. There are things behind it, and you can go ask a Navajo. And when you address a Navajo about the SWs, say SWs. Do not say skinwalkers because you may have a problem, and that Navajo may slap the taste out your mouth. So they take the skinwalkers very seriously. So if you're Navajo, I apologize. I'm mixed native. It's either Cherokee or Chickahominy or both. So when I find out, I'll let you all know. Anyway, that being said, um, we're going to leave that alone. There's more here, and I gave you guys the website. I will also post it in the thing so that you guys can find it. And I just don't want to like lead everything because I have a more important one that I have to get to, a more important chit chat. Okay, so the next one is called the Wendigo or the Winchuge. I've totally misspelled that. I'm gonna spell it for you. I mean, totally butchered it. Wechug. Now, there's a lot of other native entities outside of that, but they're not listed here because there are water sprites that are Native American entities too, and they haven't really gotten to the Alaska stuff in here. But I'm gonna give you the Wendigo thing, and we're gonna go from there. I'm only reading like the first paragraph of each one of these things, so when you see the title, you'll know. All right. Wendigo is a mystical creature of several Algonquin tribes, and the Wechug is similar legend of the Athabaskin tribes of northern Canada, were both mystical, magical creatures with a taste of human flesh. So I'm going to read both of their paragraphs under, just to be fair, since it's two paragraphs and their names are in bold. The Wendigo and the Wachu may best be compared to today's modernized zombie. They are described as beings ghostly, gaunt, I probably didn't say that right, and shrunken gray skin, hollow eyes, and suffering gait, Gaite. They reek of death and resemble walking corpses. Now, the other thing, Wechug, differ slightly from the Wendigo in that, according to the Athabaskin, I don't know how to say that tribe, stories, this creature is formed from glacial ice and brought to life. Its heart is frozen, thus unfeeling. The Wendigo, on the other hand, was once a human that became a beast through cannibalism. Alright, that's a very interesting thing. I'm actually going to save this and I'm going to read this shit later. And maybe this weekend, maybe, no promises, that I might be able to do that. Okay, so here's the fourth one. I have to spell it because me saying it is going to butcher it. So I'm going to attempt to say it, which means I'm going to butcher the shit out of it. And then I'm going to read the paragraph. Nadam Kinowet. Nadam Kilowet. I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it, but anyway. The Native American culture, like this community around the world, include tales of half humans, half fish beasts that inhabit waterways. The Namdam Kunowet. Nadam Kunowet. I'm pretty sure that's not how you say it. I'm going to spell that for y'all when I'm done. Is in Algonquin. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong too. Algonquin version of a mermaid myth or rather a merman. This might be the water sprite thing. Anyway, it's spelled capital N dash DAM dash KENO dash WET. Nadam Kinowet. Again, I'm sure I'm not saying that right. I'll read the second paragraph. All of the myths and legends of this mystical creature describe the Nadam Kinowet as a male who likes pretty women. The Namdam Kilowet, as the story goes, lurks in lakes, rivers, streams, and accosts young women and girls when they remove their clothing to bathe. Yeah, that's kind of creepy. So we found the pervert in the group. Ladies, be careful. Okay, I do not know how to say this, so I'm going to spell it out for y'all. Capital A with like the apostrophe sign on it. Tahsaia. Ashila. You know what? I did my best. The Namdam Kinowet, again, wasn't unique to North America mythology or other mythology. Creatures stalk young women too. According to the Native American stories, one of these fearsome creatures was the Antashashiyaya. You know what? I'm not saying it right. I already spelled it. We're going to keep going. Described by the Zuni people of the Southwest and a huge demon-like, much larger than a normal human, the Atahsaia, covered in thick, knobby skin and long gray hair. It's muscular and scaly with boogly red eyes. I wish that there was a picture of this damn thing. I wish that I could actually show y'all these damn creatures, man. There's no picture here. But there is a reference. It says Native American myths and legends, and I can click on it and read now. We'll do that another day. I'm gonna save this page. But yeah, there's a lot of other Native folklores that you can find on the internet. But since it is Native American Heritage Month, we're going with that. Okay, the T high I hand and the Nim I Gurur. You know what? We're gonna spell those things. The first creature is Teihiian. I just totally misspelled that. We're gonna try that again. Teihiihan. That's the first creature. The second creature is the Nimerigar. I have no idea how you say that shit, and I'm sure that you guys are gonna have fun looking these things up. Okay, several Native American tribes, including stories from races of little people called Teihiihan and the Nimerigar and the Pugwudgies, according to legend, with these weren't cute and jolly like the Disney portrayals of dwarfs. Instead, they were strong, fierce, and brutally warlike. In some myths, these little people were magical forest gnomes, while in others, they were fearsome foes. I have to read all of these on my time. So, that's awesome. I have to work tomorrow, so that's why I said on my time. Um, Basically, I slowed it down to the other one. Um, Although details of Teihiihan and the Nimerigar have long been considered as folk tales, there may be some evidence of this race of little people did once inhabit parts of northwest of the American Northwest. First, there are eyewitnesses and accounts from European explorers, who most notable Meriwether Lewis of Lewis and Clark expedition to collaborate these legends. All right. Wonder if Sacagawea knew how to talk to them too. No disrespect to Sacagawea, Okay, you know how names go from bad to worse? This is about it, and it's like some kind of lake monster. So Ogopoga and the Flathead Lake Monster. Let me spell that again. Ogopoga and the Flathead Lake Monster. All right. So we're gonna read this. Read this. All right. The Loch Ness monster is great of all intention, but according to the Native American myths and folklore, there are strange, unidentified sea serpents living in some of the lakes in North America too. I guess it's supposed to be Ogopoga. I don't know. Um, Ogopoga in the British Columbia and the Flathead monsters of Montana are two of such creatures. The depths of the O A goddamn it OKANAGAN Lake in British Columbia are said to be home to a giant sea serpent like monster that is more than 40 feet long. The indigenous people of that region have long told tales of this creature, which they have named Ogopoga or water demon. This is a different water demon than the one I talked about because the water demon I talked about before was like a native witch. They got cursed or somehow or another, and she would kidnap the kids and drag them into the water, and she turned them into these water demons. So this isn't the same thing. I also don't know the name of that one, just like I didn't know the name of this one. This is the Piasca bird. I'm pretty sure I totally fracked that up. So I'm going to spell it for you. Piasa bird. So we're going to scroll on down. It's got some natives and a black robe guy in a canoe. So the Piasca bird was a mythical creature that allegedly lived in the steep cliffs alongside the Mississippi River. According to Native American myths, the Piasca bird is quite different from the thunderbird, and it was depicted as a flying dragon in ancient paintings dating back to 2000 CE. Excuse me, 1200 CE. So we're going to read the next paragraph because that was so small. In 1673, for God's sake, Father Jacques. I'm gonna spell that for y'all, and his last name too. Jacquees. Last name Marquette. Wrote about a positive bird in his journal to keep while traveling through the area. In it, he claimed that the creature was as big as a cow, with blood red eyes and altered on its head. With antlers on his head. The body was covered in scales, yet it had human-like face. It also had long, thin, snake-like tail. And there's no picture of this thing, but it looks awesome, or at least it sounds awesome. It looks awesome in my head, though. Okay, so the next one. Oh my freaking god! This is number 9, by the way. Katshituashu. Cat shit shoe. You know what? Nope. We ain't even gonna try to spell that shit. And there is a picture of this thing, and it's one ugly motherfucker. And I can't show it to you, or can I? Can y'all see the reflection of this thing? Yeah, you can. Let's scroll up a bit. So if you can see the reflection of this thing on my cell phone, yeah, that thing's bad. I don't want to run into that thing at all. Okay, so we're gonna read this shit in Penobscot Indians. I totally butchered that. I'm sorry, guys. Penobscot Indians of the East Coast tell stories of a giant, menacing, mythical creature named Katshituas, HKU. Or stiff-legged bear. Let's go with stiff-legged bear. According to the folklore, the monster was huge and roughly bear-shaped, but with much larger head and thick, unyielding legs. The legends surround the stiff-legged bear claims to stalk and kill and devour humans. Now, it actually said the thing I spelled, but since it has or stiff-legged bear, we're gonna go with stiff-legged bear. Anthropologists researching the legends of the Penobscot people noted that depictions of the stiff-legged bear look similar to African elephants, which natives Americans would have never seen. That's fucking awesome. Okay, so I guess it's kind of like a jackalope. Now, I will tell y'all, as far as I'm concerned, myth and legends have some truth to them. You don't have to believe them, but I do. So, therefore, we're going to leave it there. We're at number 10. Bakwas. I'm pretty sure I butchered that, so I'm going to spell it for you. Bakwas. Bakwas. Again, I'm pretty sure I butchered that. This is the last one on this list. So, we're going to say it. Okay. Like Sasquatch, the Bakwas variation spelled exit variation spellings exist. Was a hairy wild man and lived in the forest. Unlike Sasquatch, however, the Bakwas was a ghostly creature that passed back and forth between human world and the ghostly world. I'm gonna read the other paragraph because there's nothing else after this paragraph. If the Bakwas came among humans who was lost in the woods, it would offer a person some food. But if it wasn't normal food, if it was ghost food, if the human ate it, he or she would become transformed into the Bakwas too. Oh, hell to the no. That's fucking awesome. I'm sorry. I got excited. I'm sorry. I'm gonna start researching these things, man. And though Native American Heritage Month is over in like 2 days, like tomorrow and Wednesday. Let me check the calendar. Yeah, today is the 29th. So tomorrow's the 30th. So yeah. Um After that, I'm gonna start researching these damn things and start doing them, and hopefully they might get some attention, and maybe it may help me get a job. Anyway, that being said, I am Echo Fan Wolf. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, the site is oldwest.org slash native hyphen Native American. I'm gonna put the damn thing in the thing. Anyway, mystical creatures and in the thing. So I've copied it and it's ready to go. So that being said, I am Echo Fan Wolf. Enjoy your freaking night. If I didn't scare your britches clean off, scared me a little bit now, but I love folklore and I love native folklore. So before I go though, so it's 23 minutes in. I'm just gonna go ahead and continue with what I learned about Coyote, Deer Woman, Sasquatch, and Thunderbird. So, first and foremost, my knowledge of these characters are about this big. So, when I made my book Love 13, which has not been published yet, it's still over there in my shed, um, I added my own spin to it, to the imagination. Because in some cultures, we're going to go with Bigfoot first. Alright? In some cultures, Bigfoot is not the bad guy. Alright? In some cultures, Bigfoot is the bad guy, but in some cultures, Bigfoot is not the bad guy. In fact, some tribes actually had a deal with Bigfoot so that he would not unalive tribal people. Okay? So I got tired of looking at myself like that, looking kind of funny. Anyway, in some cultures, Bigfoot was not the bad guy. In some cultures, Bigfoot is the bad guy. As all things, and I say this respectfully to everyone native watching and to everyone non-native watching, as all things change tribally. Understand that shit. All things change tribally. What is good in one tribe could very well be menacing or bad in another tribe. And I think part of that might have been they might have been rival tribes. I'm not gonna hold that to a grain of salt either, because my knowledge of that is slim to zero. I'm a lot closer to slim than I am to zero, but at that same time, that slim is hanging on. This is damn it, the damn thing broke. Okay, screw it. Just let it hang in the back. Um, it's a lot closer to zero, but it's still slim. So let's go with Bigfoot. So Bigfoot, again, from East Coast to West Coast in America, and that includes South and North. I can't say much about South America, but south of America, not South America itself, but from like the tip of Central America going up to Canada. Bigfoot legend has changed from East Coast to West Coast. And for the most part, sometimes Bigfoot's the good guy, sometimes he's not. But there's also many different versions of Bigfoot, which is why you don't know which one is good and which one is bad. Then you have the gigantic Bigfoots that I think also came in as the giants. So it's kind of hard to say because depending on which tribe you ask, again, Bigfoot could be hero or villain. Now, let's talk about Coyote the Trickster. Coyote, I'm pretty sure is mostly Hopi, but he also belongs to everybody because I'm pretty sure there's not a native breathing right now that doesn't know about Coyote. All right, so Coyote could be a hero or a menace. It kind of depends on who you ask. Again, everything I'm telling you changes tribally. Coyote, technically, the only people that really made a good story about Coyote was Disney's Gargoyles. But there are other people who have done Coyote videos where Coyote has stole fire, tricked birds into flying, and all kinds of other stuff. And you're gonna go with whichever one you feel. I will say that the best one would be Gargoyles because the Hopi legend I think is closer to the actual legend versus the other tribal legends where Coyote tricked somebody into doing something and that's how the stars came, or Coyote did something else that might be the wolf and not the coyote, but Coyote did something else and he caused all kinds of menacing problems. He stole fire from somebody. He did something else to somebody else. He did something and forced somebody to climb up a tree or some shit. Coyote's done a lot of shit. So the key is his name is Coyote the Trickster. So he's done a lot of tricks. And so it's more than likely that Coyote is probably borderline anti-hero versus hero. But again, it really depends on who you ask. I'm going to say I like Coyote as a hero versus an anti-hero. But he's more like the jokester of all the native deities. So I think Coyote likes to play jokes a lot. But I also think Coyote's probably a very formidable leader. I use Coyote in my Love 13 as a leader. I make Coyote to be more serious than the folklore, because a lot of the folklore he's serious at fucking people shit up, yeah, like causing problems, but he's more of a serious leader in my Love 13 book. And this is not a plug to my Love 13 book because it's not like published, but for what it's worth, Coyote's in there, Sasquatch is in there, Thunderbird's in there, the polar bear goddess is in there, and the deer woman. So there's 3 men and 5 women, and most of these characters are technically shapeshifters. All right, because Coyote, I don't recall him changing shape, but I think he does have that power. Thunderbird, I know changes shape. The deer woman technically is a shapeshifter or an illusionist. Sasquatch, we're not sure if he can change shape. We know he can go invisible, but again, it depends on who you talk to. And then the polar bear goddess. There's more than one. There's a goddess who's actually good, and then there's like a demon thing that lives under the ice that snatches Inuit children. Eskimo is a bad word. I'm sorry to anybody who's Inuit. But anyway, these legends, I know about like that much of them because it's folklore, and I did not descend from an Inuit. So, yeah, again, folklore's changed tribally, so even their names. I think I was just on Coyote, so we're gonna jump gears and go back to Thunderbird, because I read the Thunderbird at the beginning of this. So here's what I know of Thunderbird. Not my Thunderbird, because my Thunderbird I made him more of a nicer guy instead of a technically he could be considered a child murderer. No, not a child predator, but a child murderer. And the reason was because in most of the stories about Thunderbird that I know, which again take as a grain of salt, um, Thunderbird is supposed to be a spirit of vengeance. Coyote is not, but Thunderbird is definitely a spirit of vengeance, and the Deer Woman is definitely a spirit of vengeance. But Thunderbird, well, he took non-native kids after being summoned for revenge. And again, this changes tribally, and I also know about as much as a grain of salt about this legend because again, it changes tribally. And I'm doing the best I can, y'all. So again, take it with a grain of salt because I could definitely be wrong. And I don't want to lie to you, so I'm just gonna tell you take it with a grain of salt. But Thunderbird is a shapeshifter, and I think that after he can be summoned, he will shift into human form and explore the area to find his mark, or he will shift into a smaller bird and find his mark, and then after he finds the mark, he will turn into the giant bird and swoop down and grab the children. Again, this is depicted off of folklore, and folklore changes with tribes. So I want to say Thunderbird kind of belongs to everybody, but I don't want to stretch it. But I'm pretty sure Thunderbird, Coyote, and Deer Woman are all Midwest natives, where Sasquatch does kind of belong to everybody because all over America and beyond America there have been sightings of the Sasquatch, the Yeti, the Gigantopithecus, that kind of shit. So that covers Thunderbird and Coyote, and now we're gonna go to the Deer Woman. Now the Deer Woman for sure is a spirit of vengeance, and this is what I know. So take it as a grain of salt. Alright? Because this is 30 some odd minutes that you can't get back from your life. There is a good movie about it. It came on Showtime a few years ago. And I think it's as close to right as you can get. But the Deer Woman, from what I was told, which again, grain of salt, because folklore changes tribally. The Deer Woman was once a young woman who was sexually assaulted by non-native men. And they left her to die. So apparently, kind of like remember Catwoman in the Batman #2 with Michelle Pfeiffer, where the cats revived her. It was kind of like that with the deer, but the deer in reviving her gave her magical abilities to shapeshift into a deer. This is why I said it changes tribally because if you see the one on Showtime, the only thing about her that is a deer is her feet. And she lures men. That's the only thing that hasn't changed is that she lures men into the forest with the promise of sex, and then she stomps them to death. Now, don't get her mixed up with Serena the Hind from Hercules, but one story she's shaped like that, so she doesn't ever come all the way out of the forest. She just stands where you can see her waist and her boobs and her face, and she doesn't have the antlers until she completely transforms. But most of the stories I've heard, she's never gouged anybody with the antlers. She's usually just stomped them the fuck to death. So take that as you will, and again, take it with a grain of salt because, like I said, my knowledge of these things are like grain of salt, like mustard seed worthy. So I'm pretty sure I'm off. So I'm just giving you my take of what I've been told. All right, now for the polar bear goddess that is good. In my Love 13 book, I changed a little bit because it's a young girl in my book, and she rides on a shape-shifting polar bear because that's like so far from the actual folklore. Um, the polar bear goddess is technically a goddess of the ice, not so much as a polar bear, but a polar bear is easy to remember. And if you have a like 7-year-old girl riding on a fucking polar bear, you're gonna question your sight, you know. So from what I was told, there was a polar bear goddess who was a child that was like Peter Pan that never really grew up, but she could command the ice, the snow, and the fucking damn big ass fucking polar bear. So when I added that to my Love 13, I changed it because I wasn't sure how to go with that. And so I made her like immortal, but I made all the deities immortal. And then I made her a child deity, but her innocence does not exist. She believes in slaughtering stuff. So that's kind of how that worked out. But the thing was, I got her mixed up with the polar bear demon, and he's not a polar bear demon. Technically, he is a demon because he lives under the ice, and he has like tentacles or some shit that can grab children and pull them in. I do not know its name. I also did not know her name, so I named her Anastani or some shit. I gave her as close to an Inuit name as I could give her. So there's a male that literally lives in a hole in the ice. So when people went fishing, he would kidnap their kids. And so I don't remember the name of that one, but it's also an Inuit legend. And I'm telling you, for the love of God, I am probably wrong about everything that I just said about Sasquatch, Coyote, Deer Woman, Polar Bear Guy, and Thunderbird. I'm probably wrong on all of it, so just take it with a grain of salt. But those are some of the legends that I know because they're folklore, and every myth and legend has some truth to it. However, I'm pretty sure that I'm closer to wrong than right. But you're gonna have to get an actual full-blooded native that knows these folklores to tell these stories, and if you can find them, please send me the link. That being said, I am Echo Van Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Be seeing you.